Hello students, how are you today? Today I am going to teach you the first lesson of grade 7 ICT syllabus. So let's move to lesson and we'll see what are things we have to learn today. Okay? When we talk about the grade 7 ICT syllabus, there are mainly 7 units. So today we are going to discuss about the first lesson about central processing unit. This one. Okay, can you see there's a picture? It's a picture of a CPU, no? Can you identify it? Okay, then let's move to next slide. There are two guys, no? They are talking about something. Let's see what are they talking. The first one is telling, have you seen the CPU? Where is it located? And the second one is answering, yes I have, but it can't be observed from the outside. The CPU can be identified as a circuit. It gets data and processes them according to given instructions. Whatever task performed by the computer, in all such instances, the CPU runs in the background. The main function of the processor is to execute instructions stored in a computer program. Then let's move to next slide and we'll see where is it located. Can you see what is that? It is a system unit. We call it system unit. It has covered by a casing. No? If we remove that casing, we can see there's a board. Some peripherals also have attached to that board. No, we call that board as motherboard. Okay, then let's move to next slide. This is a close image of a CPU. The CPU can't be observed from the outside. It is positioned on the motherboard inside the system unit. Okay, then maybe if we talk about the speed of CPU, then can you find the speed of your own computer? To find the speed of your computer, you have to click the menu or else click on the Windows key. Then go to System Information and select Processor. This is the speed of my computer. Okay. Here, the speed of CPU depends on clock speed. What is the meaning of clock speed? Clock speed is number of cycles or instruction executes per second. We measured in hertz. During each cycle, billions of transistors within the processor open and close. For example, a CPU with a clock speed 3.2 GHz means it executes 3.2 billion cycles per second. And guys, try to keep these measurements in your mind also. This may can on your exam paper. Okay. If we talk about components of CPU, there are mainly 3 components: ALU, control unit, and memory register. Those components. If we talk about the functions of those components, arithmetic and logical unit used to perform the arithmetic and logical units. Okay. Then what about the control unit? Control unit communicates between hardware that is connected to the computer, and also it controls the input and output data, ensuring the data is sent to right place at the right time and being alert with the relevant signals are successfully received. Then what is the function of memory registers? It temporarily stores the data and instructions that are being used by the CPU. The storage capacity of the memory registers is very low when compared with the memory devices like hard disks. However, its data access speed is very high. I told you there are mainly 2 functions of ALU. There are mathematical functions and logical functions. We know mathematical functions. In our day-to-day life, we are doing addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Those are the mathematical functions. And what are the logical functions? If I take two numbers like x and y, if x equals to 3 and y equals to 5, then x is less than y, no? That is also logical function. Okay, then next, let's move to next slide and try to learn about evolution of CPU. The CPU of a computer system can be divided into 4 generations. That is based on the electronic technology used to manufacture the CPU. Okay, there are mainly 4 generations. They are first generation, second generation, third generation and fourth generation. We used vacuum tubes for first generation and also transistors for second generation and integrated circuits for third generation, and in fourth generation we are using microprocessors. So let's move to next slide and we'll try to learn further details about those generations. First, learn about first generation. Okay, first generation, we use vacuum tubes as electronic technology in that generation. If we talk about the power consumption, a large amount of vacuum tubes were used, so it led to heavy power consumption. Okay, then if we talk about the size as large as a room, then the execution speed also measured in milliseconds, and the cost of the computer is very high because of the production and maintenance. There are some examples also for first generation computers: ENIAC, UNIVAC, EDVAC. Those are the examples for first generation computers. Can you see there's a computer belongs to first generation? It is as large as a room, no? Can you see there are some tubes? We call them vacuum tubes. Okay, so let's move to next slide and we'll learn about further details about second generation. The second generation used transistors as electronic technology. If we talk about power consumption, it is less power consumption when compared with the first generation. Also, the size is smaller than first generation, and the execution speed was measured by microsecond. It also cost a lot for purchasing. There are some examples like IBM, CDC. Those are the examples for second generation computers. Can you see there's a picture of a second generation computer? And also there are some transistors also that were used to in second generation computer. If we talk about third generation, integrated circuits were used as electronic technology. If we talk about the power consumption, it was less than the second generation, and also the size of the computer is also smaller than second generation. If we talk about the execution speed, it was measured in nanosecond. If we talk about the cost, it cost less for purchasing when compared with second generation. We can take IBM 360 and CDC 6600 as examples for third generation. This is a third generation computer, and this is also an integrated circuit. And let's move to fourth generation computers. We are also in fourth generation, no? So we are all, I think all of you know, we are using microprocessors as electronic technology in our computers. If we talk about the power consumption, less power consumption when compared with the third generation. Then how about the size? It is smaller than third generation, and the execution speed, million of instructions per second, picosecond. And also, how about the cost? It costs less for purchasing than third generation. That's why in today's society, many of the students have computers. No, it's because of it costs less for purchasing. So we can take modern computers as examples for fourth generations. So today's session is over, or we will hope to meet you with the new lesson on next day. Thank you.